Hello, this is Mr. Hornsby83 with another edition of Mr. Hornsby83 Topics. And I've been advertising this for weeks, and I'm very excited to bring it. The reason why I didn't do it earlier is because the person that was supposed to do the video with me had to take care of the kids, which is this fine. But he will be here for next week's fitness video. Which I'll get more into that later on. But I'm going to be talking about some things I found out about, retro WWE, WCW, and some angles I think might have been possibly going on when at the time frame of '96. So alright, I'm gonna start out with first things first. Ahmed Johnson did an interview on the show called Sullivan Sounds Off, which is on YouTube. Well, it's actually a podcast. So. But he was talking about how he was supposed to be the first Black American WWE champion, but Vince McMahon said America wasn't ready for a black champion, which was bull crap because a lot of people liked Ahmed Johnson. I was one of the ones that was a big Ahmed Johnson fan. And when I said Lashley could have been the next Rock, I meant to say Ahmed Johnson. I was so frustrated that day with, seeing it only did Wyatt. But so yeah, it would have been interesting to see Ahmed Johnson as the champion and what that would have did for the Rock. If Rock would have eventually won the title like he did in '98, who knows? But next up, I'm going to talk about Vader was supposed to be, also in '96, was supposed to be the WWF champion, but he never won it. Jim Cornette went on an interview and talked about how Vader was supposed to win the title from Shawn Michaels. Was it SummerSlam? Was it going to be Survivor Series later that year? Was it going to be the December pay-per-view? I don't know, but it would have been nice to see Vader as champion. I mean, he made a good champion in WCW. I mean, he carried the company. Him and Sting carried the company while guys like Flair and Luger went off to WWE. We all know what happened there. But, alright, and now I'm going to get to some WCW news. And first thing I want to talk about is before Vince McMahon bought the company and that, Bischoff, he's even said it in interviews and everything, he was prepped to buy WCW and keep it on TNT and all that. His investors, he had investors and everything, but at the last minute they backed out. Bischoff wasn't able to buy WCW, but he had plans to rebrand the whole entire WCW, start fresh, start new. They were going to go away for a month or so and come back, and Scott Steiner was supposed to be facing Booker T, I believe, at like one of the big summer pay-per-views. I don't remember which one. Either Great American Bash or Bash at the Beach. And he was going to lose the belt back to Booker T. But because of Vince buying it and that, they had to rush things. And plus, there was rumors back in the day that Russo and them, the reason why they gave Booker T the belt was because they would have a lawsuit on them for racism. So, I don't know. But, yeah. So it would have been interesting if Bischoff would have got to buy WCW. Would WCW improve from what they were, I believe, from like late '98 all the way till like 2001 when they finally went off there, because them were the times when people really stopped watching WCW because of what was going on in WWE. Stone Cold, Rock, all them guys really attitude era going on. ECW was doing great at that time, but also when Vince McMahon bought WCW, he was going to keep it on the air. He was going to make Raw, Nitro, and have the WCW guys on there. And he had Buff Bagwell and Booker T put on a match to have people to respond to it, but I think Vince McMahon sabotaged that by saying, here's what we're going to do, Buff and Booker. You're going to go out there and have a bad match, so I don't have to keep WCW on the air. Make people puke. But, so WCW essentially, Raw ended up kind of becoming the WCW show because, you had the WCW title, the big gold. You had, all the WCW guys on Raw when they first started this brand extension stuff. Flair was running Raw, Bischoff was running Raw, and then, things went downhill from there. Alright, now I'm going to get to some possible angles before I get to the big main event in 1996. And I want to talk about a possibility that Survivor Series '96 was supposed to be Diesel and Shawn Michaels, but everybody knows what happened there. But because the way they were playing the story up in that, it just seemed like, and with Diesel losing the belt of Survivor Series the year before, which is what happened with Bret Hart, and he won it back at the next Survivor Series. I think they were going to do that with Diesel. He was probably going to go face again and come after Shawn Michaels and the title. And then he was going to turn heel by betraying Shawn Michaels, by hitting Jose Lothario with the camera, then hit Shawn Michaels with him taking the title. But, like I said, Diesel went to WCW, and, you know, so it ended up being Sid for the championship with Shawn Michaels. Sid wins. And I was a big Sid fan, and I was glad Sid won, but, you know, I think that's what was supposed to happen in Survivor Series 96. Especially with the fact that before that, the sub-main was Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, come on. But, and I'm going to talk about WrestleMania 12, which I found out it was supposed to be tight. It was supposed to be Scott Hall, a.k.a. Razor Ramon, versus Goldust, which probably would have been for the Intercontinental title in the backstage brawl, but I think by then Scott Hall had made a deal with WCW and went on to do what he did with Nash and Hogan and the NWO thing, which made WCW big time at the time. But instead you got Piper, which Razor was probably going to win the Intercontinental title back from Goldust, and then probably go on down the road to possibly face Diesel for the championship, because I think Vince McMahon had even said on one of the videos, and a couple other guys that worked for him at the time said they had big plans for Scott Hall and Kevin Nash with Razor and Diesel, but they went to WCW. Alright, now to the main event, which was the news. I don't know if anybody's heard it. I'm sure Bret Hart probably mentioned it on a couple DVDs, but this blew my mind when I heard it, and if this is your first time hearing it, it'll probably blow your mind too. SummerSlam 1993. Everybody knows Lex Luger fought Yokozuna for the title. But I think that was Plan B, because Plan A was probably Hogan versus Bret Hart for the title, and if you pay attention to King of the Ring 93, you know, all the way up until Hogan lost the belt to Yokozuna, Vince McMahon and Bobby Heenan were both saying, if you win this King of the Ring tournament, you're going to become #1 contender for the WWE title at SummerSlam. So I was like, wow. But Hogan lost to Yokozuna because he didn't want to lose Bret Hart, because Bret Hart was too small, which is stupid. I mean, that was selfish of Hogan, because this really could have made Bret Hart and made post-Hogan era really a very most viewed thing, because after Hogan left, a lot of people stopped watching for a while, and then people started getting back into it around 96. And I was one of the ones that stopped watching after Hogan left. And, you know, I mean, Bret Hart's a great wrestler. He did get himself a credible champion. But this would have made Bret Hart a very credible champion, beating Hulk Hogan, the guy that was the top guy in this company for years, a la Daniel Bryan and Cena last year at SummerSlam. So imagine all the hype they could have put behind this, you know, the old dog taking on the young up-and-comer for the title, and, you know, it would have been hyped up. Hogan, that could have probably helped Hogan's WCW career. He could have been still, you know, stinging from the loss of Bret Hart at, you know, SummerSlam 93, and he wanted to redeem himself by beating a guy similar to Bret Hart by beating Flair for the title, but we all know what happened there. I really wish, now that I've heard about it, I really wish it would have happened. Because imagine, it would have done a lot for Hogan and Bret Hart, and it would have done a lot for WWF post-Hogan era. But Hogan, creative card, he's too small. I'm not losing to him. I don't know, it would have been something spectacular like the Ultimate Warrior, but it is what it is. Bret Hart still became a very great champion. So that'll do it for this topic show. Tune in tomorrow night. I will be doing a review of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, my opinion on it and all that. And I already told you about the fitness video on that. But yeah, I'll catch you guys later, and peace out.